Cowboy fan, and yes, sir, I'm back with another one. And yo, this is gonna be the situation. Well, let me slow down. 'Cause this shit got me, tripping. But this thing about this narrative that the Cowboys can't be good teams. Like I'm this narrative, man. I'm like, okay, like I understand, different teams, you got your different levels of competition or whatever. You got certain players on one team to make other teams better. But I'm like, I get it. But we only played two good teams really this season. I mean, if they want to talk about like elite powerhouse teams or whatever you want to say, and the top teams is San Fran and the Eagles, as far as in the NFC is what I'm saying. Like, we only played two good teams. And really, the only team that really damn beat us was, we lost to Philly, but San Fran put it on us. Okay? But for the last 3 years, it's only been San Francisco as one of the good teams that we haven't been able to beat. So far, they got our number. We played the same game against them early in this season that we've been playing, and they knew it, and they called our number, and they put the beat down on us. Philly barely got away with the win, and we was in Philly when we played them. But it's like you forget, Billy, we played them twice a season. We only play San Francisco maybe once. We might see them in the season, and we might see them in the playoffs. But it just been seeming like the last 3 years, we ran into them twice in the playoffs, and we played them again this season. That's really only been, because if we lost to good teams in 2021 and 2022, we still went to the playoffs. If we supposedly lost to some good teams or didn't beat no good teams in those two playoff seasons, we went 12 and 12 and 5, so we lost 5 games each year. I'm pretty sure it was 1 or 2 good teams in there we lost. I'm pretty sure it was 2 or 3, 4 good teams we beat. So I'm like, this narrative that the Cowboys can't beat winning teams and all this shit, that's bullshit. Is that the only basis of saying that we're not a good team this year? Is because we lost to San Francisco and we lost to the Eagles, but them the only 2 good teams. If you want to say we can't be a good team, them the only 2 we played. Both of them was really early in the season. Even San Fran was even earlier. After we're trying to figure out our offense, we're coming from a totally new offense. It seemed like we didn't get it processed and get it going too good because the first 2 games of the season, we didn't need the offense. We didn't need the offense. So I want to hear. I listened to Richard Sherman and Keyshawn. Them been the big 2 proponents. Well, it's been a lot of the pundits and these damn analysts that got down spewing this narrative about this us Cowboys can't beat winning teams or we keep losing to good teams or whatever the bullshit they keep trying to, another biased narrative that they hang, another goalpost that will be moved. But man, he done Keyshawn, Richard Sherman contradicted himself because in one moment he was talking about the Cowboys never beat a good team, and see, this was before the Seattle game. That the Cowboys gonna lose to Seattle because they can't beat winning teams. But Keyshawn, which he's been spewing and continuing to spew, saying we can't beat good teams, but Richard Sherman had just said earlier that we're not going to beat Seattle because we can't beat winning teams or we can't beat good teams. But now Keyshawn talking about Seattle basically ain't a good team. Oh, let's listen to this shit. Oh, let me get to this.
Doesn't beat any teams over 500. Skip, I'm sorry. That's just who they are, and that's who they have been. They've won a lot of games at home against inferior opponents. Seattle's defense didn't play as well as they're used to against the San Francisco 49ers, but who has? I mean, they gave up less points than Dallas' defense.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But offensively, Geno's getting his right tackle back. They're getting a little healthier on the offensive line, which is necessary. Yep. They have the playmakers. Smith and Jigba is coming into his own. DK Metcalf has historically played well against the Dallas Cowboys. That's just how it's been. Geno, when he has time, has been effective. He has not had time this season because this offensive line has been in flux. They've been beat up. Defensively, these young corners, Devin Witherspoon is having a defensive rookie of the year type season. He's out there getting sacks, forced fumbles. He got a pick six. I think it was 90-something yards against Detroit. He's played very well. Done everything they've asked him to do. Tariq Woolen got pulled because he's been kind of beat up and wasn't tackling well last game. But in coverage, he's been very good. Bobby Wagner's having another all-pro season. So I just feel like with Leonard Williams on the inside, this is going to be much more of a dogfight than Dallas Cowboys are expecting.
Yeah, I kind of saw that too,
what
though.
What kind of score are you thinking? Close game, significant win, convincing win.
Oh, it's going to be 24-21. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
chuckling at your bit.
No, I'm not chuckling. I'm with Rich though. I hear everything Rich is saying about getting people back and Bobby Wagner playing his all-time high and the young corners. And the defensive side of the ball is not my concern for Seattle up against the Dallas Cowboys. It's the offensive side of the ball. In particular, the last 4 weeks of this season, weeks 9 through 12, Seattle's offense has been dismal. I mean, when you look at where they were at the beginning of the season, when I thought, okay, they can go into Jerry World and they can win this game. But the last 4 weeks have convinced me to flip, as they say, on the fence. But I flipped completely in this game where Dallas is going to win the game. And it's not going to be a blowout, but Dallas will win by 10, 12 points. They'll get a cheap score late in the game because Geno will be driving and there may be a pick, and then Dallas will go down and try to run up the score to make it seem as though that they've beaten a 6-5 team. Look, they're over 500, so we can have it.
Listen to this dude talking, and you see your boy Richard Sherman kind of agree with him, but watch what Keyshawn say. Earlier, goddamn Richard Sherman just said the Cowboys going to lose because they never beat a good team that was over 500. Seattle was over 500. Watch this flip-flop.
That conversation. When you look at Seattle's offense, point per game in the last 9 to 12 weeks, they're 27. Okay? You look at yards per game, they're 26. Sacks allowed, 25th. Third down conversions, 31st. And their record is 1-3 in those 4 games. So when I look at this type of team in these last 4 weeks, hey, Richard, this is right up the Cowboys' alley. A team that's 1-3 in the last 4 weeks is like the rest of the teams that they've been playing on their schedule the entire way. So it's set up perfect for Dallas to win and Skip to say, see, we beat a team that's 6-5. Oh, they're over 500. Well, not the last 4 weeks, they're not. They're a bad team. They're a bad football team the last 4 weeks.
You just dismiss Seattle as a tomato can, a cupcake.
Right. Look at Richard Sherman, though.
No, they are right now. They're 1-3. They're playing like
that. Ain't what Richard Sherman just said.
I understand what Richard's saying. They can get back in it because they got some pieces coming back and whatnot. Dallas's defense against this offense should dominate them based on the way that Seattle has played in the last 4 weeks. And I know you're not
sick. You got shit to say about that,
You're
Richard?
trying to point to the 6-5 above 500. See, we beat them.
I mean, a fact is a fact.
No, it's not in my eyes because I look at the last 4 weeks, just like when we scout Richard, when we look at tape, what do we look at? The last 4 to 5 weeks of a team. Games. We don't look at the entire season. Maybe we do on our downtime because that's just
back to the pine.
We want the extra work. But in our scouting report, is the last 4 to 5 weeks. And this is a scouting report I'm giving you on Seattle in the last 4 weeks or so. They're not a very good football team. So don't get all happy and giddy when the Cowboys beat them on tomorrow night.
It sounds suspiciously to me like somebody sitting across from me is already planting excuses to protect himself so that when he comes in here on Friday,
I'm picking the Cowboys.
He'll say, well, I told you so. It's another tomato can.
Look, dude.
Right? When will it start?
Dude.
All of a sudden, the Eagles are going to be tomato cans.
No, the Eagles will never be tomato.
49ers.
But the Eagles haven't lost 3 out of the last 4 either, Skip. This
Because Dallas doesn't beat.
That's all I need to get right there.
I'm sorry, that's just who they are, and that's who they have been.
That's all I need to see on that. See, that's my point, man. I'm like, we battling over Cowboys. The only team got to battle over how good the opponent was. You got one person saying they was over a 500 team, and since they were over a 500 team, they were going to lose because they can't and they haven't beat teams over 500. Then you got another joker gonna pick apart and say, no, they're not a 500 team. They lost their last 3 out of 4 games. So to me, that's they both of them contradicted themselves just like that. But man, I'm just sick of hearing that shit, man. That shit is garbage, man, to me, because granted, we lost to the 2 best teams we played. Granted. Okay. I got that. But we only played San Fran 1 time this season. We play the Eagles twice a season. This was their first win against Dak since 2019. Since whenever Dak played the Eagles, this was their first win against him since 2019. So the good teams, I know Eagles fans or even some of these pundits want to pick apart who was the quarterback during that 8-3, and then we finally lost. Now we're 8. Now Dak is 8-4. They want to say, well, who's the quarterback? Well, 3 of the quarterbacks were back. Well, he beat Jalen Hurts once, the first time he ever played him, and he owned Carson Wentz. So I'm like, Carson Wentz was the guy who was supposed to be better than that. So I'm trying to see this narrative that we can't beat good teams, because we went to the playoffs 2 years in a row. We was 12-5. So the only good team that's been beating us has been San Fran, and that's been in the playoffs. Because prior to the playoff, Dak was 2. I think Dak was 2-1. He was either 2-0 or 2-1 in a regular season in his career versus the 49ers. I think he was 2-1 in his career versus the 49ers before they met him in the playoffs. So now they're 2-2 in the regular season, but we're 0-2 since the last 2 years, that's 2 past previous years that we've played the Niners. So I could give you the credit to say, like, we can't beat the Niners. But the other good teams, we beat the good teams. The only way they can say that, well, you ain't did it in the playoffs because the last 2 times we ran up against the Niners. I get it. I mean, we played better against them last year in the playoffs, but in the regular season, they kicked our ass. So I could get the fact we can't beat the 49ers right now, but we can beat Philly. We showed and proved we can beat Philly. That ain't no problem. We pretty much split with them all the time. So this notion to me that we can't beat good teams is bullshit. Because the only 2 good teams, so-called good teams we played this season was the Niners and the Eagles. And we played both of them on the road. But we get to see the Eagles. Yeah, the Eagles got to come to Dallas. So then what's going to be the narrative? Because there will be the only 2, according to y'all, Well, according to them, the Eagles and the Niners only two good teams we've had played. And if we went 1-1 with the Eagles and lost to the Niners, man, what's the narrative? Because we would have evened it up with the Eagles. So what would be the narrative? Yo, this JB the Cowboy fan. Y'all like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all listening to me. Let's go, Cowboys.